What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I am back today to give you a review of the Whitaker group collaboration with New Balance on the 1906 U or Utility in the Sand Dune colorway. This is the latest collaboration between the Whitaker group, which is the parent company of brands such as A Ma Manière and Social Status, with New Balance. This pack released a couple weeks back and they retailed for a price of $170 each, which is roughly $230 Canadian converted. And alongside this Sand Dune colorway, they also dropped this much louder colorway nicknamed Electric Teal. And both pairs are part of this Willful bias pack, which acknowledges the prejudice and the willful bias of the American or even North American judicial system and how people of color often don't get the exact same fair treatment under the law. So the official colorway for this Sand Dune pair is Sand Dune, Shadow Gray, Team Red, and Washed Amber. And the style code for this shoe is M1906NG1. So the New Balance 1906U or Utility is a slight tweak to the 1906R with slightly different paneling along the upper. But the tooling of the shoe is the same as any other 1906. So diving into the details of this shoe, starting things off with the toe box, you'll see that the base layer of the shoe is constructed out of a very unique looking knit, almost like a string-like appearance to it, which gives it a very raw and natural look. Holding the laces in place, we have this genuine suede in gray with the New Balance N logo pressed in the center. Overlaid on the lateral side, we have more suede with a debossed pattern running towards the toe. And then covering the medial edge of the toe box, we have a perforated synthetic layer which has a tough TPU coating on the outside. And then underneath this, covering the medial side as well as wrapping around the lateral edge of the toe box, we have a gray colored leather. Moving downwards towards the middle eyelets, we have these black woven strips which extend downwards past the New Balance N logo underneath, which in itself is outlined in this yellow color. And this is what New Balance calls their N-lock technology. So basically this extends to the bottom of the shoe, so when you tighten up the laces, it cinches up the midfoot area of the shoe, giving you more support and lockdown. Underneath this and next to this, we have a combination of that gray colored suede and leather. And then pressed onto the lateral side, we have 1906U branding. On the heel of the shoe, we have a gray colored TPU heel cup with a perforated reflective 3M layer beneath this. And this gives you additional structure and support around the back end of the shoe. And then in the middle, we have NB branding, and we have a thin pull tab on the top in yellow with a reflective layer running down the center. In terms of laces, so this pair comes with two different lace options. The standard or default lace that they come with is a flat style lace in cream, but they also come with a pale olive toned lace as well. Underneath this, the tongue is padded, but it's covered in that same string-like woven material that covers the upper of the shoe. And then on the top, we have this genuine suede, which extends towards the side of the tongue. And in the middle, instead of NB branding, we have WB branding, which stands for Willful Bias. And then on the back of the tongue, we have this tag, which has the words Willful Bias for Community and the New Balance logo in the bottom in red. So the back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is covered in this olive green colored liner. And the collar of the shoe is pretty decently padded. And then for the insoles, so these come with a typical foam lined insole, nothing special here from a comfort standpoint, but we have this custom graphic featured on the left and right insoles, which is an image of Lady Liberty, but instead of being blindfolded like she typically is, you'll see that she's peeping out of one eye, which again is a nod to the idea that there is bias under the law and within the justice system. So the upper of this shoe, this sits atop this foam midsole. I'm assuming it's constructed out of New Balance's Absorb technology. It could be Activa or Activa Light, but it wasn't specifically noted on Social Status or A Ma Manière. Either way, we have this yellow colored hit on the lateral forefoot, and it's painted in this orange color on the lateral heel. We also have New Balance's Energy technology, and we can see these gel-like pillars found on the lateral heel, which help with impact protection and shock absorption. And then for the outsole, this is your typical 1906 outsole. So this is done in a black colored rubber. We have these flex grooves on the forefoot to give you added flexibility along with a diamond shaped traction pattern. And underneath the rubber in the middle, we have this orange colored TPU shank plate, which is what New Balance calls their stability web technology. And this is there to help with torsional rigidity and midfoot support. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, so my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and I usually wear a size 10 in most 1906Rs. So that's what I got in this shoe, and I have to say the 1906U does run a little bit more roomy than a 1906R. So getting these in my true size, I felt like they were a little bit roomy lengthwise. So I think in a perfect world, if I was able to go down to like a 9.75, that would have been perfect. I don't know if I'd personally want to go down a half size for this shoe. I'm a little bit worried that the width of the shoe will be a little bit too tight, but if you're someone that's kind of in between sizes, I'd recommend going to the smaller size. So to give you guys a point of comparison, I wear a size 10 or true to size in other silhouettes like the 2002R, 860 V2, and a lot of the made in UK models like the 991 and the 1500, whereas I usually go down to a 9.5 or half size down in a lot of the made in USA models like the 992, 993, and most of the 990 series. So long story short, I feel like if you have a narrow foot and you like more of a snug one-to-one fit, you could go a half size down. Same thing for normal width footers, but if you don't want to risk it, or if you have a wider foot, then I think going true to size might be the safer bet. Moving on to the comfort, so these feel pretty much like any other 1906R. It's a very comfortable sneaker in that it gives you some level of plushness underfoot, but it has a lot of stability, and I feel like it really supports your foot well too. So is it as comfortable to me as, for example, a 990 V4 or a 993? No. But for the price point you're paying, which is lower than a typical made in USA shoe, I think the comfort of the shoe is really solid. So this is a pair that I wear on a daily basis, or if I'm going to be on vacation, for example. I think the 1906 model in general really does the trick. Finally, in terms of the quality and craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality I thought was decent. There are some synthetic materials on this shoe and of course this knitted upper, but I was happy that they actually utilized genuine suedes and leathers on this shoe, which gives it a little bit more of a premium and elevated feel. There was some noticeable glue stains around the midsole area where it connects to the upper, but other than that, I thought the stitch job was pretty solid and no major loose threads that I could see. And overall, especially for a made in Asia shoe, which gets an unfair rap sometimes, I think the overall build of the shoe was pretty solid too. So with all of that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up and I'll show you guys how these look. Between the two colorways in this Willful bias pack, the Sand Dune or Shadow Gray colorway was for sure my favorite. I know this might be a little bit boring of a colorway for some people, but I think there's some small touches on this shoe that really make it stand out. First of all, the accent of orange around the heel, and my personal favorite, the yellow outline around the New Balance N logo, and you can see that repeated again on the lateral forefoot too. So it straddles the line between being a safe colorway while still giving you just enough accents to make it unique and stand out. And before I forget, I really love the material variety on the shoe as well. This base layer that they used with this string-like look to it, I thought this was excellent. It's not something you see every day. And then the rest of the materials really complemented it with the mix of the suedes, the leathers, and the synthetics. It all came together looking very, very solid. So leave your thoughts down below. Let me know, what do you guys think about this Whitaker Group New Balance 1906U in the Sand Dune or Shadow Gray colorway? For anyone watching, did you also manage to pick these up for retail? Did you strike out and pick these up on the secondary market? And if you weren't feeling this colorway, did you end up picking up the electric teal colorway instead? As usual, if you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, follow me on X at sean.go spelt out, and visit my website at seango.ca. So I want to give a huge thank you over to the Whitaker Group. Appreciate you for always looking out for me. Thank you everyone else for watching, and thank you for your continued support, and I'll catch all of you in my next review.